It's an interesting time to be alive, right? Um, who would have thought we'd have a real estate boom because of a pandemic? All right. I posited that it was possible, but I wasn't willing to put my name on that bet. But it turned out that we had a real estate boom. It turned out that four walls and 4 yards and a front door you can lean a shotgun up against, and nobody can mess with you, and the pandemic can't get in. And you don't have to wear a mask in your own house like Gavin is. And, that houses are a really powerful thing, and the world recognizes it now. These large investors recognize it, but you still have the naysayers out there, and you've got an artificially inflated market right now. Right? We're trying to sell houses to investors. I'm trying to buy houses as an investor. Felicia was out videoing a property for one of our clients recently. And Felicia, are you out there still?
I am. I'm here.
You want to tell everybody what you found when you scheduled an appointment to go see that house?
Sure. We had a house. It wasn't an open house. This was supposed to be appointments only, unscheduled showing time. I got there. There was 4 groups waiting. I was more than an hour past my appointment time. When I came back out, there were 4 new groups waiting, and I couldn't even get the video done without having all the agents and all the people walking around because they just weren't having it. The house was gone within hours.
Yep. And you guys don't know that's happening. Felicia sent me pictures. She's like, just so you know that I'm not slacking. It looked like the drive-through at Chick-fil-A, right? It was just cars as far as you could see. And they were moving through. You should have sat outside and said, you want some sauce with that? Right? Just.
I probably could have made some money that way if I had snacks. Hot coffee, something.
So the buzz is starting to kick up now. Noel posted something a couple days ago on LinkedIn that, it's always a very familiar refrain. Housing crisis, right? There are people who think housing crises are always what happen after a real estate run. After things are good in real estate, then, well, we have to have a bubble because, of course, it happened one time in 2008 and it happened another time in 1938. But they assume that every time the market cycles, it's going to be a crisis, and they're persuasive. Okay, so what we've had here is maybe 2.5 or 3 years worth of appreciation in 9 months. All right, like think of it in the context of the demand of people escaping cities for suburbs, escaping high tax, high density cities or states for the places where they were migrating to anyway, right? That accelerated migration, that's all really happening. And they're driving prices up, and they are in some ways driving prices up artificially, because I know the person who bought that house that Felicia's talking about was coming out of New Jersey and saying $375, I'll take it now, but it's only worth $335. Well, whatever. The house I just moved out of was $750, and it was smaller, and the taxes were 4 times as much. So they have this reverse sticker shock when they get down here. But you can see this headline. Lending Tree survey reveals 6 housing predictions for 2021 from higher mortgage rates to a market crash. There's everybody's favorite term again. I just want to share some of it with you. Key findings: 4 in 10 Americans, so 41% think the bubble will burst, meaning home prices will drop significantly due to low buyer demand. Now that's interesting. Not overinflated prices that have to correct, but low buyer demand. So they're literally asking the question of people, do you think the market's going to correct because of low buyer demand? I don't think the people responding to that picked up on that distinction at the end of that sentence, because the demand is robust as hell, right? They're not going to say, oh, you know what? I actually like paying crazy high taxes and living in New York. All right. They were making a move to Florida anyway. They were going to Arizona from California anyway. They just weren't doing it yet. Now they're doing it, of course, Texas, right? Now they're doing it faster, but I don't see a decline in demand. So I think the prices are going to still continue over time to keep going up, although I do think that we should see a flattening. All right. We talked about this last time we did this, that there was like 7 or 8% appreciation in a year. That's 2 years worth. If we wind up with 3 years worth at the end of this year or the end of this spring, we should see a leveling off. But as long as the demand is there, it won't be a decline, because there's not a, well, whatever, that's my opinion, but it doesn't really make a difference. The question is, what is the opinion of the people that you could be talking to? 41% of them think there's going to be decline in home prices in 2021. And 26% think there will be a decline in home prices in 2022. If you own a home, a rental property, and you're thinking about selling it, you're not moving, but you're thinking about, you've had a good run, your property's been doing well, and you see this survey, or you think the way the people in this survey think, what is your big idea to do with your property?
Well,
Dump it right now, right?